but let's get my next guest out. She's brilliantly funny, she's insightful and she's provocative. It is the fabulous Shazia Mirza.
Thank you very much.
Have you met you on time before? Shazia, lovely to have you on. Were you enjoying that from the sound of things?
It was wonderful to look at.
OK, so I know you as a comedian. I know of your work as a comedian, but it wasn't your first choice necessarily. You were a teacher for some while before, weren't you?
Yeah, I used to be a science teacher. They hated me and I hated them. Right. And I taught in a lot of rough schools. I used to teach in Tower Hamlets and Dagenham. I
believe one of your pupils went on to great fame himself. You taught the young Dizzee Rascal.
That's right, I did. Well, I tried to.
I find him to be a charming company. He was a very energetic young man. I can imagine his focus wasn't always on the front of the classroom.
That's right. He was... Actually, he loved music. He used to run out of my lesson and go, I'm going to the music room. And I have to always drag him out of the music room and go, get out of here, put your banjo down, you're coming to my lesson. And he'd go, I hate your lesson, I hate your lesson. And, but he just loved music. He was never about the fame or the money.
If you were to bump into him, would he still think of you as his teacher, do you think?
Well, I met him a couple of years ago. I went to a screening of a film and I was walking up the red carpet and all I heard behind me was this voice going, Oi, miss! Miss! I turned round and it was him and I said, you don't have to call me miss anymore, you know. We're not at school and it sounds a bit sordid.
Have either of you, have you ever bumped into old teachers of yours in unexpected places?
Yeah, and you don't know what to call them. You call them Mr. It's ridiculous, but surely they thought you were funny. I'm sitting here going, they must have thought you were funny.
Do you know, they used to say to me, this is so boring, miss, you're not funny, go home.
Really?
Yeah, so do you know what I did? I used them as material. So he's in my act now, and I'm making money out of him.
One of the things I know in your comedy, you talk about your upbringing. You talk about a fairly strict Muslim upbringing, is that correct?
Yeah, my parents are both Muslim. They're very religious. My mother, she wears the burqa, mainly because she doesn't want to be seen with my dad. I don't know what the big deal is, you know. All the women in my family, they all wear the burqa, and it's great because they all use the same bus pass.
That's a real positive, right?
It's a positive, but, you know, I did have a very strict Muslim upbringing. I was never allowed out of the house.
So this is seriously, yeah, it was a strict time?
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. I wasn't allowed to have the friends that I wanted. I wasn't allowed to have boyfriends. I wasn't allowed to have sex. Wow. God, if only I'd known at the time. No big deal. Nobody has sex these days anyway. You lot don't, otherwise you wouldn't be here tonight. Yeah. I mean, it's been such a long time now, I don't think about it anymore. I think the only way I'm going to get it now is if it snows heavily and someone slips in. No, don't feel sorry for me. I've got a couple of degrees and I've got a lot of reading done.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I go skiing.
Very good. You've got a possibility right there. OK, now, so... You're from Birmingham?
Yes, obviously I don't live there anymore because I'm doing well.
OK. Your parents, though, they came up from Pakistan, I believe?
They came from Pakistan to Birmingham, so not much difference. In the 1960s.
So that must have been quite a culture shock for them when they first arrived.
Well, do you know what? They were desperate to be British. They were so... They really wanted to be like the British. Like my dad, he's called Mohammed, but he abbreviates it to Bob. And I'd come home and there'd be calendars of Samantha Fox on the kitchen wall, like naked pictures of women in haystacks. And we'd say to him, what are you doing? And he'd say, well, you know, John down the road, he's got one of these, so I had to get one. Because that's what all the British men are doing, you know. He's Welsh.
They must be... hold on, you used to holiday in Wales when you were young, didn't you?
Well, the first holiday that we ever went on was in a caravan in Cardigan Bay, because my dad went, oh, you know, all the British are staying in caravans, let's go and do it. And we got there, and we had to come home after 4 days because he didn't like using the toilets. He was like, I'm all for the British, but this is too much.
What, like
Lack of proper sanitation.
Yeah. Really? And they came from Pakistan.
Well, this isn't Wales in general. This was a caravan site, I think.
So too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We're very, very clean in Aberystwyth.
Yeah. But you're from that town with the long, long name, aren't you?
Well, that's where I went to primary school, yeah, but I moved to Aberystwyth when I was about 11.
Was that just because it was harder to pronounce the original place? What's the name of the big town?
You really want me to do it?
Yeah, because I'm
you
so...
really want me to do it?
I'm so excited. Yeah. You know where he's from.
I've been trying for 4 months to say it. I can't say it. Come on.
It requires some vocal warm-ups.
Taryn, can I ask you not to do that thing with your lips again?
No?
Do it again. It's amazing.
See, that's what you missed in Cardigan Bay. Wow, that... Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Well, you know, Luke, because you speak Welsh as well, of course, don't you? A little bit of Welsh.
Yeah, conversational, not as good as I once was.
Because we have Luke. Luke's on the show this evening, and he is also from Wales, and I believe he is also fluent in Welsh.
He looks how I feel.
I can say that town though.
Well, anyone can say I can say it. If you can say it,
say it.
Say it.
Llanfai pwll chwingil gogar chi'n drobl llantysilio go go go.
When Luke did it, I'll be honest, I don't want to be critical, but that sounded more Welsh because he did the... He did the you know, the...
The Arabic.
Yeah. I don't know whether he was going that far east. OK. So your parents, though, they must be pretty proud of your success now. They must look at you and see what you've achieved.
They're actually in denial. Like, people stop my dad in the street in Birmingham and they'll go, oh, you know, we saw your daughter on TV, and he'll go, yes, that is right. But, you know, she really has a degree in biochemistry. The comedy, she'll get over it.
So, but what about when you met the Queen? Your mum and dad, they must have thought this is quite a milestone. One of our daughters meeting Wildly.
Finally, we are British. No. Our daughter has met the Queen. We're British. It's true, I met the Queen. I've met the Queen 3 times, but the last time I met her, the reason I went to the palace is because the Indian Prime Minister was coming to Britain. I'm not Indian. But the Queen thought, I know, let's gather up some Indians and people who look Indian.
To make him feel at home.
And get them to the palace.
Yeah.
They asked me to bring 2 forms of ID, like a driver's licence or a passport. I got so nervous, I knew I wasn't meant to be there. I took my gas bill just in case. This perception that the Queen talks like this, and it's true, she really does talk like this. And I was standing in line to meet her, I put my hand out to shake her hand, and she went, and what do you do? And I started talking like that as well. And she went, and what do you do? I went, I'm a comedian! And I felt my Birmingham accent going up 3 social registers. And then she said to me, oh, do you do any TV? And I said, yes, I do some. And she said, do people recognise you? And I thought, obviously not. And then she said, the same thing happens to me.
What? Now, hang on. How many people don't recognise the Queen?
She went, the same thing happens to me. You know, sometimes I go shooting in the country and people look at me and they go, I know you. And I think, you don't know me. Where do you know me from? I wanted to say, you're the Queen.
You've met the Queen, surely, Hugh?
I met her at some royal event where people were performing, and we lined up at the back, and she came up to me, and I was told, were you told? I was told not to ask her questions.
That's
and all.
Right,
There's a whole lot of protocol. I couldn't help myself, and she came up to me. I thought, I'm never going to meet her again. You know, I'm some bloke from Australia, and here I am. And she came up to me and she said, hello, and Cameron McIntosh said, oh, this is Hugh Jackman, he's from Australia. And he said, oh, you're Australian. I said, yes, actually, today in Australia is your birthday, Mum, because it was her Queen's birthday in Australia. It's in June. And she said, oh, really? And she turned to her aide and said, is that true? And the aide said, like that, and she said, yes. And I said, well, happy birthday. She said, well, thank you. And that was it.
Well, let me ask you about shaving of bodily hair. Shazia, because Shazia made a documentary series for BBC Three back when it was on TV, before it went online. And this was... now, what was the purpose behind this? This was to kind of embrace the idea of women not having a shave, or what was it?
It was called F Off, I'm a Hairy Woman. And it was basically because a lot of women feel that men are prejudiced towards hairy women. And, I mean, I'm very hairy, and Asian women are very hairy. My mother's very hairy. She's got a beard and a moustache. She started to bleach her facial hair. I've told her to stop this now, because when she gets in a lift under the lights, she looks like Father Christmas. And it was all about how to... This is all true.
None of
it is a joke. It's just my life. Do you have a question? You've got your mouth open.
No, it's just that... that's the natural face I pull when I think about hairy women. Jonathan looked like he was going to ask me something.
Well, I wondered whether you'd encountered a hairy woman.
Yeah.
OK.
That makes me sound like I'm promiscuous.
Do you like hairy women?
You
don't, do you?
I don't mind it, actually, I have to say,
because all women are hairy.
Yeah, well, exactly, they just shave it off, right? It's really not, it's not a problem for me, personally, anyway.
OK. So you're easy, yeah?
I'm totally easy.
You know what's great is none of us knew you'd be asked about that tonight, Taryn, and you've handled it very, very well, young man.
I'm up for anything.
That's the Eddie the Eagle spirit right there.
Because, you know, women, they do a lot of shaving, plucking, lawn mowing, all this kind of thing.
But they used to do more than they do now, I think.
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, now they have these... Women have these things called Brazilians. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've encountered that as well.
What, you've had one?
Sorry, Mum.
Oh, it wasn't your mum's, was it? What are you talking about? Why would he talk about that? Why would you do that?
I know. Has your mum had one?
Oh, my word! No, I've no idea. I have no desire to know whether... I can't believe we're talking about my mum's Brazilian. This is... I feel I've stumbled into a nightmare.
The thing is, young women, you're right, they have these Brazilian, they have everything off. I mean, I went for a Brazilian. I had the Gaza Strip. Very popular on the Edgware Road. I mean, it's all the rage now, but I think we should go back to letting it all grow out.
Let it happen. You can trim it. You don't have to take it all off. That's the you know...
So you don't anymore nothing after this documentary? No.
Well, I grew my body hair for 7 months for the documentary, and it was really weird because people really react to you in a strange way. I got on the tube, and I had a lot of makeup on, but I had hairy legs. And this woman came up to me and she said, "Listen, love, I know what you're going through. And I totally understand. Here's my number if you ever want to talk." And she thought I was going through a sex change operation. But it's weird how people react, you know, to hairy women.
But you guys, do you shave or do you wax your backs, cracks, sacks? Hold on.
Here we go, look at this!
Proud.
Yeah.
Proud.
Yeah.
Don't do it up.
I used to pay my kids to shave my back.
And that's like not as weird as my mum's Brazilian.
Right, maybe we should take a break, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just tell you, the very funny Shazia Mirza is on tour right now. It's called The Kardashians Made Me Do It. That's the title of the tour. If you want to find out exactly what they made her do, you've got to go and see her live. But I think you'll agree she's very funny. Shazia Mirza, ladies and gentlemen. Still to come on the show, we'll be joined by the